Thanks so much for tuning in to this earnings conversation with Root Mobile. We love talking to companies which have got this futuristic tech trend to themselves, and Root is no different. They've come out with the numbers, third quarter numbers, revenue growth of 46%, EBITDA growth of 28%, and adjusted PAT up about 30%. Let's get in the management to talk about the numbers. More importantly, some salient features of the quarter and some questions that I have around maybe one-off charges, etc. Rajdipkumar Gupta Johnson right now to talk about that. Rajdeep, good having you. Thanks for joining in. Hope all is safe. Can you talk about the quarter, Rajdeep? 46% revenue growth seemed very impressive, even though the adjusted PAT slightly lower than the revenue growth. What are the key revenue drivers, and how do you foresee the trend on those for the remaining quarter or for the quarters of 2021?
Thanks, Niraj. Thanks for having me here. I think the quarter result, if you see, like we always say that the digital adoption and digital acceleration due to the pandemic has really helped lots of enterprises to adopt the digital platform. And we believe that this trend is going to continue for a longer period of time, because people are now very much used to with the digital platform, and they know the value of the digital platform. And we do see the kind of, I think most of the enterprises need to have some kind of engagement in coming days to engage their customer, which they have somehow not able to do in last few quarters because of the pandemic. And I think this is a great opportunity for them to use the digital platform to have a more engagement and to with their existing customer base. And that is going to be required for next 2 or 3 quarters, where I believe all this platform like IP messaging or customer experience kind of platform will definitely help enterprises to communicate better with their end user in coming quarters.
No, so I understand that would be the basic growth driver, but 46% was impressive. Any specifics that happened in the quarter on the revenue front? New deals signed,
So,
or mining the same account for more revenues? How? Any color thereof?
So we definitely signed almost 67 new customer in last quarter, and I think there is a lots of OTT players started using our platform for various other countries, and there is a large OTT e-commerce international e-commerce company who started using our platform. We built them in the first invoice. We built them for the month of December, and there are almost different payment companies. There are different OTT players, plus along with operators revenue. Because of app like Signal or BIP SMSs, like that has increased the traffic over our firewall, which led to increase in terms of our revenue.
Interesting. Yeah, you did mention in the call, I believe that, or maybe in the release, I don't remember which one, that you signed a large global e-commerce client. Just wanted some clarity there. The revenue potential from this one, I think you referred to a number of 15 million, if I'm not wrong. Even if you can't share the name, can you tell us a bit about this large deal win, because the revenue potential seems interesting?
So yeah, it is. I think we expect about $15 million kind of potential with this customer, because they are going to use our platform not for only one country. Almost they have done testing for almost 22 countries as of today, and I think all their data is already verified with our platform. And I think we're just waiting for them to start more number of countries. I think they have a huge potential, and what we are trying to just focus on the 10% of the wallet share, which as a sum up around $15 million in terms of revenue.
Yeah, well, as a result, I reckon you surpassed the FY20 revenues in 9 months itself. So it'll be interesting to see what you do in quarter 4. But just a couple of other words on the quarter gone by, Rajdeep. When I look at the gross margins, the DLT change did impact. Now, I know you answered a lot of questions here. I have a follow-up question. One, would you reckon that almost all of your clients would be able to absorb a DLT price change in quarter 4, or would you do it selectively? And how would it shape up? And will it have a bigger or will it continue to have a big impact on gross margins Q4 or the next year?
No. I think, Niraj, I think almost all the customer have started paying the DLT charges for the month of January. We just supported them for initial 2 months, where I believe that almost all the customer, they had lots of budget issues, they had lots of pain point. All of a sudden, the price got increased, and they were suffering, I think, from this price increase, so that they cannot have a more engagement with their customer. So we took a collective call because we want to make sure we support our customer and we become a partner with them. So So we just took that collective call for 2 months, and from the month of January, I think the trend is every customer of ours are paying for the DLT charges, and the margin is definitely going to the for Q2 kind of in line, and there's no impact in Q4 for sure.
Okay, so normalcy returns from quarter 4 onwards.
Yes.
Right. Okay. The other question that I had is that I think you mentioned, I believe in the call, that A2P margins 19-20% band would continue, which is approximately the gross margin profile for the company too. But for the new products, the gross margins are high as maybe 50% plus in certain things. My question to you is, Rajdeep, uh, would you reckon that if not in FY22, then in 2-3 years time, the proportion of A2P versus other products could change materially, which will enable you to improve the gross margin profile, or it's not necessary, but I'm just trying to get a sense from you. Would you remain constant at the current aspects, so to say?
So Neeraj, I think as a tech founder, it is very important for me to keep on adding new product portfolio within our offerings, and definitely we are looking out to build something or acquire something which has a much higher gross margin. And as we focus right now on the IP messaging layer of communication or a new acquisition, I think we believe that within a year or two, our margins is going to much higher, around 25 to 30%, or over 30%. You can say that for sure.
That's that's a substantial raise from the current gross margin profile, Rajdeep. Or would it be acquisition led, or would it be
It,
organic?
it, will- it will be organic and acquisition led both. So you can say the combination of R&D and combination of acquisition led. And I think I believe that is very much possible, because there are various company who are doing this kind of activity, this kind of offerings, and their margins are in that range. So we are not guiding something which is not there in the market. We are guiding, in fact, we are guiding little lower than what others are actually recording. But yes, 30% margin around 1 to 1.5 years is definitely we're going to achieve that.
Yeah, no. Please don't misunderstand. I'm sure when you speak, you think through it before speaking. I was just trying to
Yeah.
understand how it would come in. There's the follow-up question. Since you mentioned this, um, the market is rife with speculation almost every second week about an acquisition getting announced from your end. Are you announcing it next week?
So within 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, you will hear that. So we are almost finished the major due diligence part, and now I think we are just at the final stage of signing the agreement. So I think I can just tell you that maybe within 2 weeks we can announce that.
Okay, I don't want any other details, Rajdeep, because I'm sure you can't divulge, but just wanting to know, is this a large one or a small one? And is this one of the acquisitions which is margin accretive for you?
Yes, indeed. It is the large one. It is the one which is margin accretive, and it will definitely support Root Mobile to cross sell and upsell the product which we have to their existing customer. And the same thing goes with that acquisition as well, because the kind of product they have, we can sell to our customer. Like we are almost working from 18 countries, and we can take that entire product portfolio to all these countries, where we do see a huge potential of this acquisition.
Well, wish you all the best for that. A couple of other questions, Rajdeep. One, I think you mentioned that the next phase of evolvement for Root would be in the space of customer experience as a service. Can you talk a bit about that? How far are you already in this? And how long does it take to do this? And how does that change the color of your company?
So I think this acquisition is for the customer experience product only, and we are just a few weeks away, and we will definitely have a call related to including the founders of that company, and we will try to give the entire perspective of this acquisition, what exactly we are going to achieve from this, and how exactly it's going to help Root Mobile and the company, to build a very strong offering to enterprises.
Okay. Now I know how much of a stickler Apple is when it comes to talking about or their clients talking about associations with Apple, but I believe it's pretty much in the open about the beta phase trial with Apple for the Apple Business Chat solutions. If you can you talk a bit about it?
So it is just like a chat app API, what we are using with Viber and what we are using with WhatsApp, like Telegram. So we just wanted to offer a complete solution to our customer, where I think we cannot just limit to ourselves with the Android APIs. We want to make sure that we do something on Apple
Okay.
APIs as well. So we want to make sure that we cover 100% mobile ecosystem with our API offering.
Okay. So it's more inward as opposed to outward. Fair call.
Yeah.
Rajdeep, last question. You've maintained fairly strong since the time you listed. You've spoken about fairly strong revenue growth numbers for 2-3 years out. You looking on track to beat those healthy estimates from FY21, as I said, because you already crossed your 9 month in 9 months the last year's revenue, so you have 1 quarter worth of edge out there. With this kind of performance in FY21 and the acquisition led growth that will happen, are you tempted to conservatively revise higher the growth forecast that you had made for FY20 to FY23 when you listed?
Uh, it's a good question. I think, as I said, like I always want to overperform than what we guide. But you can just take our numbers, and you can from there you can do a judgment, because I think we always want to make sure that whatever guidance we give to our investor and the stakeholder, I think we always try to overachieve. But yes, there is a huge potential. There is a better future, and the kind of technologies we are working on will definitely generate more revenues that will help in terms of increasing our revenues. So yes, I can say the whatever we are guiding, we always try to overachieve it.
Well, Rajdeep, we at BloombergQuint and all our viewers appreciate you taking the time out and speaking to us today. All the best for the quarters ahead, and thanks so much for taking the time out.
Thanks, Niraj. Thanks for your time. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
And viewers, thanks for tuning in to this earnings conversation. The highlights, viewers, a couple of them. They believe that the gross margins could expand meaningfully, cross the 25% or even a 30% mark. And there, the management is saying that they are being a lot realistic when they're talking about those numbers on the gross margin front. And with the kind of forecast that they've done on the revenue front, you can put 2 and 2 together to try and figure out what the growth rates could look like. So pretty impressive guidance. Let's wait and watch how Q4 shapes up from Root Mobile, and then take it from there. They are going to announce an acquisition in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so that could be the other interesting facet of this one. Thanks so much for tuning in today.